Hi, I'm Sonia Byers, Chief Executive of Women in Transport, and I'm delighted today to be speaking to Gary Lincoln. Gary is Group Director at TXM Recruit, and TXM have supported Women in Transport since 2017 when I first met Gary, and we had a chat about what we were trying to do at Women in Transport, and we're starting the pilot of our advanced mentoring program. So Gary, thank you so much for making time, as you always do, for Women in Transport. I wanted to talk to you today about why supporting Women in Transport is so personally important to you.
Morning, Sonia. How are we? Good, thank you. So supporting women in transport is important to me because I think I've sort of said this on record before, but I've got a daughter and I've also got nieces. And so I'm a true believer that, and I've also got a son and I've also got nephews as well. So I do not understand, and I don't, why my daughter and my niece's careers should be disadvantaged because they wear a skirt or due to sex. So I think we're getting a lot of work has been done in the past and carried on in the past into the future in terms of how we get equal gender parity across lots of sectors. But however, I still see it now. So any work I can do to help this gender parity for the likes of my daughter and my nieces and their nieces and nephews, etc., in the future, that's why I do it. And that's why it's so important to me. And
you've been an advanced mentor for us, Gary, so now we're entering the 5th year of advanced, which, you know, myself and Angela, who co-created the program, and I think certainly when we first spoke about it, I never imagined it was going to go into its 5th year, and that we'd still be working together on it. But you've mentored over 3 years of the program. So what have you got out of that experience yourself, and why do you think mentoring is important?
So what I've personally got out of it is I've actually thoroughly enjoyed the process working with people. I mean, I've probably mentored people throughout my career, but generally they're people who work alongside me. So not people who work for other organisations, and especially outside my remit, which is recruitment. And that's been thoroughly enjoyable and actually a massive learning curve for myself as well. So on the back of that mentoring program, I also then become registered and sat my diploma in executive coaching because I thoroughly enjoyed it, but I also wanted to learn more of a structure around it. So me personally, it's aided my skill set, my experience and my knowledge of now becoming an executive coach, actually. So I do mentoring and executive coaching also into the recruitment industry, but also outside now. So it's actually transformed me as a person. I think the way through mentoring and coaching, I also think I'm better at my job because I ask more meaningful, proper questions from people rather than assuming the answers as well. So I think that's probably where the question up is actually, it's been a real benefit for me personally. And in terms of, I'm also a firm believer that actually we have this age group, this age group, my age group, needs to pass on the baton of knowledge and experience to the next generation. And it's not all about what we know, and actually mentorship is actually how do we allow people to become the best possible person they can be by using our knowledge, our experience that we've gained and giving it to other people. And through that process, they then become better and then pass on that baton to the next generations and generations after that.
Yeah, it's absolutely that. I think that's we've definitely seen that in advance. There's a kind of butterfly effect. It's very much that two-way mutual benefit that you get out of mentoring, but then the butterfly effect of them passing that on and paying it forward. You've been an absolutely fantastic male ally and advocate for women in transport. From the very first day I met you, you've always made time, and I'm incredibly grateful for every moment of time that you've given and personally supported me over this journey for the last 5 years. So, yeah, we've talked privately about the difficulty maybe of standing for something in a society that scrutinises everything that we do and we say, and it feels like there's a lot of pressure on us to do the right things. What advice would you give to male allies who are looking to support women working in the transport sector, especially where it's such a male-dominated sector?
Yeah, so that's something I've thought about quite a lot. So what I mean, I can't get anyone any advice, but in terms of putting yourself out there and being part of the alliedship of, and I think it's important that actually other people let other people stand up and give them a platform. And as a male in a very male orientated industry, and I've been around engineering and transport for 20 years, I've seen many times where women walk into the room and the first thing that's expected them is to make a cup of tea. And by being an ally, actually, I'm the person who now, over the last 5 years, and I've learned lots about this environment and being around the women in transportation sectors. I've learned loads more, and actually, it's on my radar when I listen and hear things. And I probably was one of those people 5 years ago that was probably a bit scared, if I'm honest, a bit scared of saying the wrong thing, and we're living in becoming a very sterile environment where people are scared of the backlash that comes out because they say the wrong thing. But if we say the wrong thing and we don't actually, it's not aggressive and it's not hurtful, then someone may say to you, actually, you know what, you might want to reframe the question or reframe the way you say it in this way for the future, or by listening to other people, you can learn along the way. And I've learned loads about how we should address certain people, how we address just people in general. And some of them unconscious biases, and you only know what you know. I only know. I was brought up in one way. So over the last few years, I've learned loads on how to embrace myself into different culture, different genders, and all this. So it's been a massive learning curve for me. But I would say for anyone considering coming into women transportation, or women rail, any other the women in groups, don't be scared of it. Actually, you can learn loads. It's a really embracing and knowledgeable environment where you can learn loads from each other, and you can give as much as you get from it as well. Brilliant.
And you've certainly done that, Gary. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to me today. I'm absolutely delighted that we're going to be able to deliver a 5th year of Advance with your support and the support of our other partners. And thank you again for everything you do for women in transport.
You're welcome. Thank you.